This is a Rogue Media Network podcast. This is Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of the dear Savior's birth.
And what a great way to open this particular podcast with a little bit of Oh Holy Night as we are talking to the Emersons, Peter and Jen, I'm going to go by Jen, Emerson, who kind of the driving force behind He Rules the World, which is a brand new Christmas nativity. I'm calling it a rock opera. That's probably maybe overstating a little bit.
No, we'll accept.
But it is fabulous. I had the chance in July to come to the sneak preview you had at the Hippodrome, Peter, and I was just blown away. My granddaughters were with us, and they were enraptured with it. So it is a show for the whole family, a lot of driving music, laser lights, I mean, you name it, animation. So that being said, I want to hear a little bit more from the two of you, how all this came about.
Well, thank you for having us again, and thank you for coming to the show in July. That was,
it was great.
Really special to have you there, and we got some really good pictures of your family and your granddaughters in the audience enjoying themselves. So that was really special to have you there with us. He Rules the World came about. In 2018, I took my older daughter to go see Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and they had a great show with lights and lasers and LED screens, and it was soaring guitar solos and pyrotechnics and everything you could want in a production.
Yeah.
But it was really just Christmas adjacent. It's a very compelling show. We actually just bought tickets to go back again this year. It's a wonderful show, but I thought maybe it would be a good thing to use my skills and create something in that kind of style that was both my music and also was biblically based and told the story of the birth of Christ. So that's what we set out to do with He Rules the World.
Well, and this is coming up on December 11th through the 14th. Tickets are available now. You know, I know it's not too early to be thinking about. You know, and Jen, I think it's a great idea. A lot of folks, you know, they want to give experiences. But why don't you give an early Christmas present?
Yes. Well, and yeah, and that the gift of experiences, I mean, that's a big reason why I became involved with He Rules the World. So when Peter first shared a demo recording of He Rules the World with me, I just, by the second song in, I could just, you know, I closed my eyes and I could picture myself in a theater watching this with my daughter next to me, who at the time was 6 or 7 years old, now nearly 10. And, you know, I'm very deliberate and selective about what types of things I will take her to go do. And I just thought, this is something that I would go with her year after year after year, creating those memories, because that is what's really important. And yes, you know, the presents at Christmas are nice, but the most important thing is the gift that's been freely offered to all of us, and really that special time with family and those memories. So absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the reason we celebrate this holiday, for sure, to be able to bring it to life the way you do. Though you've got narration. Let's talk about the production itself, Peter. I mean, you've got some amazing singers and musicians. Pretty good number, but it's not overwhelming. I mean, you've got...
There's 10 of us in the cast total.
Right. And so, and that's everything. That's
music,
your drummer and
So we have 5 musicians on stage, and I'm one of them. I do some singing in the show, but we have 5 principal singers out front. and they sing from the perspective of the participants in the nativity story.
Taking on the role of Mary, or
Exactly.
Right.
So Mary and Joseph, the angel Gabriel. We even hear from the innkeeper, which is kind of an interesting perspective that I haven't seen before. What did the innkeeper think when he had to turn the young family away and just say, "I'm sorry, all I have is the stable. Go out there to the stable in the manger." So we're kind of exploring these ideas a little bit. We get to hear from Herod and how he feels threatened, that his kingdom is going to be threatened, and so he takes action against that. So yes, 5 musicians and 5 singers on stage, and we were very, very lucky very early on to be introduced to David Gashin, who is on our team. And David is most known for playing the Phantom in the Phantom of the Opera over 1,300 times on Broadway and in Europe in several different locations, and just a strong Christian man and a wonderful person to work with. And he's opened doors to other connections. Some of the younger singers are former students of his, and one of the other singers, Alex Bumpus, is a friend of mine from graduate school at North Texas. And the musicians are just all really just phenomenal players, world-class musicians. A lot of them I've known for quite some time and have worked with them for years and years. Our drummer, Charles Reed, for instance, was a former student of mine at Harker Heights High School.
Really?
And I've been playing with him for 15, 16 years now. And it's just been really great. So just using all the resources that I have, putting them together, and trying to make He Rules the World a family tradition. We were also very fortunate enough to be put in touch with Kevin Sorbo. And as you know, God's Not Dead and Hercules.
Yeah, pretty famous.
He
really.
is everywhere. He's in the Reagan movie that just came out. He's everywhere you turn, you see Kevin Sorbo, and he lent us his name and his voice for the narration. He is also an executive producer on the project, and once we get this ready for perhaps streaming release or a theatrical release in movie theaters, perhaps as a Fathom event, then Kevin's contacts will kick in for us, and we're excited where that relationship is going to take us.
Well, you've watched your husband go through the creative process. What has it meant to you to see, the start of this, and then where we are today, getting ready for a 3-day run, the 11th through the 14th?
Exciting, amazing, overwhelming. It's God calls you to do things, and you don't always understand why you, I guess, to borrow a line from Mary in the in He Rules the World. My background, my professional background is as a lawyer and an accountant, and so I don't have experience in the entertainment industry. But again, when I heard that demo, and I just thought of, like, this is something that I want to share with my daughter, and I want to share with other families. I know that I'm not the only parent that finds it difficult, to find really just high quality, family friendly entertainment. In this case, it's also God-centered. And so it's gone through the whole gamut of emotions and experiences, and I'm just really, really excited to share it with the Waco community, and and hopefully beyond in the coming years.
Well, of course, the Hippodrome is I remember initially when we first became acquainted, you were kind of looking at it. Well, where can we stage this? And I was really happy that the Hippodrome was able to be something you settled on. I mean, it's old. It's an old building, but historic in that, and that kind of adds to the ambiance, really, of what you're experiencing in this very rich, visually and through the sound. It's just an amazing production. It truly is.
Yeah, I think we're very lucky that we're able to use the Hippodrome and that it is working out for us. It does have its technical challenges, being as old as it is, but I think that we do a pretty decent job of transforming that space.
I mean, I didn't notice any issues.
Needs,
if there were, I don't remember them because but the laser lights and there's just how it just draws you into the story, and then it kind of pulls you back to, almost like an animated, storytelling aspect. And then the music starts up again. There is original music in this, but a lot of very familiar hymns. I mean, familiar carols and things that you'll know. It's not like all new musically.
Yeah, so that was really important to me when I was writing it, is that I really wanted that familiarity to be there.
Yeah.
And so I used Christmas hymns, familiar Christmas melodies as launching points for new material. I quote some of the original lyrics in the songs, but really it's sung first person from the perspective of Mary or Joseph. O Come Emmanuel is sung by the David character. David Gashin is, or Joseph rather. He is a character. David is a character, but Joseph is singing on the tune "O Come Emmanuel," but he's really struggling with the news that Mary is pregnant.
Sure. Yeah.
And then in the middle of the song, he's visited by the angel saying, hey, now this is God's plan. And then he comes to terms with that. And you hear this familiar melody going in, but then the vocal melody goes away from that. Some of the harmony is still there. The familiarity is really important. And so it's really taking these familiar things and launching into new material. But somebody that knows nothing about He Rules the World at all can come and see He Rules the World and instantly feel at home.
Well, I mean, it's remarkable. I mean, I believe God inspired that you were able to pull this together. I mean, don't you think so? I mean, you're watching it from the outside, but yeah, that's right. I mean, it's really remarkable. How long ago did it kind of come to you that, I think I want to do this?
So 2018 in December, between Christmas and New Year is when I took my daughter to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah.
And I obsessed with the idea in the car ride home because it was in San Antonio and we drove back to Waco. And I'm like, I've got to do this. I'm like, something has to happen. And so I wrote the bulk of the show in about 6 months' time in 2019, starting in January. And then by August, it was pretty well done. And I've made a few additions to the show since then, but it was in a form where we could say He Rules the World is something. I had it on paper. I had it written out. I had a demo of it. It was a thing, yes.
Well, and of course, this is not a premiere because a year ago, really, it was premiered, correct?
2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years ago now.
2022.
Okay. Oh, okay. So you've had time to kind of, as you say, massage things. And I mean, it's a great production. I just can't say enough about how much your family's going to enjoy going and really immersing in the holiday season, but the Christmas season, the nativity season with He Rules the World. Now, again, these tickets at the Waco Hippodrome, December 11th through 14th, are available. How do we get
you can go to our website, which is herulestheworld.com, or you can go directly to the Waco Hippodrome website. And it's on their calendar there as well. I just want to say that we really believe that this show is family friendly. It is for all ages. And because of that, we've made a concerted effort to really keep our ticket prices down. The most expensive ticket is $35.
Okay.
And so kids' tickets are $25.
15 and 25. Adult tickets are 25 or 35, depending on where in the theater.
So if you're down front on the floor, the $35 to $25 tickets. If you're up in the balcony, then it's discounted even greater. So we're really hoping that this becomes a new family tradition, and we just want to fill the Hippodrome 5 times.
Okay, so it's a Over 3 days. So when are the show times?
4 days.
4 days. Okay.
Yeah, the 11th.
You're counting the 11th. You're right. So just one show a day. You're not doing a matinee.
Matinee and an evening performance on the 14th.
On the 14th. Okay.
So 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock and 7 o'clock every
And there might be
night.
people, live out of town that would I'd come to an afternoon and then have time to
Absolutely.
So
get back home.
Both when we performed this in Austin and when we did the Christmas in July performance here in Waco, we had people drive from Dallas or drive from Houston. And I just want to remind people or tell people, like, Dallas is not that far.
Oh, no.
And we had a lot of people who drove in for the Christmas in July, and they said it was easy breezy.
Yeah.
So we really encourage people to do
right.
that.
And if you've got Sunday schools, bulk tickets and so forth, you can handle that as well. But that'd be just a great holiday outing for groups as well.
And we really certainly appreciate people following us on social media as well, because that does help. This is the show right here. This is the two of us that are doing this and trying to make this happen.
Yeah.
And we have a fairly consistent presence on Facebook and Instagram at He Rules the World Show. And so we're putting content up there almost on a daily basis now. So like and share that, and that would really help us out, and lots of really good content up there as well. The soundtrack for the show is available on Spotify and Apple Music and Pandora, all major streaming platforms.
You will be wowed by the quality of these musicians, as you say, Broadway quality folks that are involved in the musicianship. Vocally, the talent is just incredible, but the story is even more incredible, and it's just a joy for me to be able to share with everybody about He Rules the World and how we're going to have a holiday tradition on our hands.
Yeah, and you've mentioned the music a couple of times and all of the different elements, and I want to just add to that to say that there will be songs in here that, again, appeals to all ages. The young kids are going to hear those familiar tunes that they'll be able to hum along with. The people closer to our ages here, they're going to hear, Peter's musical influences like Styx and Steely Dan and Stevie Wonder and the Beatles. And I mean, it's a really wide variety of music. And some of the songs are very, much slower and introspective. And some of them are so high energy. Some of them get kind of jazzy. It's really cool. And you get to see a couple of guitar solos.
That's what blew me away. I wasn't going to bring that up, but when you came out with the guitar, I thought, "What in the world? You're just incredible, Peter." I mean, it really was so much fun.
I like to tell a story from the 2022 performance where we had some teenage boys there, and I remember back to when my nephew was a teenager, and he never liked to admit when something was really cool.
Yeah.
He might really like something, but he kept it to himself. So we had a teenage boy at the 2022 performance, and he came out and he's like, "Oh man, that's the coolest concert I've ever been to, and man, that guitar was amazing." So you've got to come out and see the guitar.
As if you've never seen a guitar. You will. You will. And I mean, it's just a remarkable performance. I mean, it just truly is the show from start to finish, and it's something that folks will enjoy. And again, I like to reiterate, I mean, I think people are looking for experiences to share with their families, and if they're going to spend money, spend it on that. Nobody needs another pair of socks. I mean, this is really an important way to celebrate the season.
We really believe that entertainment can be high quality, family friendly, and God-centered. There's no reason you can't have all three of those.
Amen. Amen, brother. Preach on. All right. He Rules the World. And again, the website is
HeRulesTheWorld.com.
All right. Get your tickets today. Thank you both, Peter, Jen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you for being with us for Central Texas Events. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
This has been a Rogue Media Network.